Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, and if you're new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button, and feel free to comment. Alright, so today we're going to go over a 5-minute game that took place here between two 1800s, me and myself. And but before we get into that, give you guys an update on the Canton Open Chess Tournament that happened this weekend. I took second place, and you know, I feel good about my second place. You know, the guy who took first place, believe it or not, was 12 years old. And yes, he got me. But I could have had that game, but I don't want to be the whole coulda, shoulda, woulda. You know, I had him. I was up material. Even had a chance to run his whole clock out. It was just, I was just making mistakes. You know, the guy, little kid, he was hyperventilating, but I'm not going to be the excuse maker. You know, he took first place. He earned it, but all I can say is don't let me catch him again. All right, but before we, let's just go ahead and get started. All right, so I started off this game here. Guy came with the regular E4 opening, and if you guys know me by now, I never play E5. I'm gonna always play the Sicilian with E4 opening, and I did this here. And he comes out with Knight F3. Everything looks pretty standard. I bring up G6 because I like to finchetti my bishop on G7. And I move my pawn up to E6 because I always feel like, you know, whenever they move their bishop to C4 in the beginning, they're trying to take my pawn on F7. And they may try to sacrifice it or whatnot, but, you know, I always try to be more extra careful and move my pawn up with just one. So he moves his pawn to Knight C3, and I move my bishop to G7, and he brings his pawn. Everything looks pretty standard. Doesn't look like he's in any trouble, but you'll see where it comes here in just a second. Standard move, H6 to stop this counterplay here. But see, he has all this power here on this space here, and I don't want his knight to get here because okay. Of course, he's trying to get right here and check my my king. And we can't have that. So he played A4, and to be honest with you, I don't see why. You know, there's really no reason. What's he going to do? Try to back up his 3 power pieces with my pawn just so he can try to trick me into giving up my rook? It's not going to happen. So, attack the knight, he takes my knight, and I take, because now I get an opportunity to finchetti my bishop. I don't always think that whites should be trying to take out my knight when it gives me my bishop more power to get that diagonal. So he castles. Everything looks even, as you can see on the eval bar. And he takes his queen off that file. That was a mistake, because now I'm going to push later. But I'm going to castle first to get my king to safety, because you never know. Alright, when he did that move, I was wondering, I'm like, he really must be trying to push these pawns here, but there's still a lot of action going on in the center. Why take your eyes off the center and get away from all that? Because that's where the power plays is getting ready to take place. I took advantage of it, moved my pawn up to D5, and now it looks like he feels uncomfortable. So let's make him feel even more uncomfortable. Let's try to track that bishop. So he took, I take back. Now his bishop is no longer technically, well, it's still trapping a piece, so we'll see what he does about that. He moves his queen out here to give his bishop some way to escape. It's a developing piece. This was a development move. I didn't have no more attacks. I didn't want to attack his bishop. It said I should have, but I felt like I needed to develop some more because I didn't want this rook over here somehow getting slipped up and being taken away. So, you know, who knows? Didn't say it was a bad move. All right, he tries to pin my knight, but that's I'm not having it. Oh, he should have took it, but he didn't. Some people are more aggressive than others. I'm glad he wasn't. And now it looks like his queen is in trouble. Nope. Moved him to safety, but There you go. Got the fork with the pawn. He tries to somehow take away out this pawn, but it's too late. And then he felt like, hey, all is lost, and he resigned. But tell me what you think about that. That Sicilian defense. You know, especially when I bring out my G7 pawn. And did it look like I had the advantage from the beginning? Is E4 always the best opening for white, knowing that black is going to play the Sicilian? You know, if you know your opponent's going to play the Sicilian, do you still want to play E4? Do you want to take on that challenge? Do you feel like the Sicilian defense is strong enough to take on E4? I do. But let me know how you feel in the comments, and we'll see you again next time.